Kia Picanto 1.2 MPI GT Line review. What is it? This is the third-generation Kia Picanto city car, as the Korean car maker would doubtless prefer you first laid eyes on it, in new upper trim level GT line form, complete with 16-in alloy wheels, sports body styling, bi-xenon headlights and plenty of other ritzy features. Unlike 6 years ago, the Kia now has the classy VW Up, the striking Toyota Aygo and the quirky Suzuki Ignis to contend with. With style-conscious 20-something buyers to lure, it may well need these more impactful looks in order to hold its own. The Picanto will be available in the UK market in 5 trim levels, starting at 1, progressing through 2 and 3, and culminating in GT Line and GT Line S specification. The latter, in all likelihood, will describe the car with the combination of high equipment level and Kia's new 1.0-liter, 99 bhp turbocharged petrol engine, which we'll drive later. The GT Line styling kit adds extended front and rear valances and side sills to the standard Picanto's already relatively pumped-up form, as well as exterior trim finishers for the grills and sills that can be had in red, satin chrome or black. Chromed twin exhaust tips also feature. As we reported earlier of the cheaper 1.0-liter version, the new Picanto is based on a widely overhauled body in white that's longer in the wheelbase and shorter in the front overhang than the last version was, as well as 40% torsionally stiffer and 21 kilograms lighter. Stiffer anti-roll bars, retuned springs and dampers, an all-new torsion beam rear suspension system and a quicker steering rack are key parts of the chassis overhaul. Going for the 1.2-liter engine instead of the entry-level 1.0-liter means paying what's likely to be a £1,000 premium on the list price, though it'll make little difference to what your Picanto will cost to own otherwise. Peak power jumps from 66 to 83 bhp and torque from 71 to 90 pounds-foot. The latter benefits from a significantly more linear torque curve than the cheaper 3-cylinder motor, and also allows Kia to fit gear ratios for the 1.2 that are around 7% taller than those of the 1.0. What's it like? The Picanto GT Line's sports styling may be a bit over the top for more mature buyers, but the added presence flowing from that cutesy aggressive front bumper and those high-intensity fog lamps will more likely be approved of by the 20-something clientele that Kia is directly courting here. The car's oversized C-shaped tail lamps make it just as recognizable from the back as it is from the front, while its 16-in alloy wheels fill those newly flared arches very nicely. If there is a problem here, it's only that the car's looks may promise greater driving dynamism than the car ultimately provides, but that's hardly likely to deter anyone buying their first car. On the inside, the Picanto GT Line is available with leather effect upholstery and a flat-bottom steering wheel, although they're likely to be cost options on UK cars. At this trim level, you'll get Kia's 7-in touchscreen infotainment system thrown in, which works quite well and offers smartphone mirroring for both Apple and Android smartphones. Glossy sports pedals are another sporty touch in a cabin that accommodates taller drivers fairly well, though doesn't allow them to sit quite as low or as straight-legged as in a VW Up. The absence of reach adjustment on the steering column may be a similar disappointment to taller drivers, although the wheel could still be positioned agreeably for the 6 feet 3-in tester, allowing for a fairly upright seat backrest. A bigger ergonomic bugbear was Kia's occasionally troubling relative close positioning of clutch pedal and footrest. Although, the latter sitting slightly deeper in the footwell than the former and making it a bit too easy to snag the underside of the clutch with your left foot in the process of changing gear. However, credit to Kia for fitting proper seats with separate adjustable headrests up front, rather than chairs with integrated head restraints which are seldom as comfortable. With the engine running, you can appreciate the refinement boost the Picanto has had with this 1.2-liter motor just as easily as you can with the 1.0-liter. The engine starts quietly, those twin pipes evidently there for visual effect, rather than sporting tonality. Around town, the motor remains well-mannered and smooth, only getting slightly tremulous and coarse above 4,000 revolutions per minute. The better news is that the 4-cylinder engine's greater medium-range torque means you needn't work it nearly as hard as the 1.0-liter engine in order to keep up with the traffic. Despite those longer gear ratios, the 1.2-liter Picanto will pull cleanly and usefully from just about 2,000 revolutions per minute in third and fourth gears, whether you're in town, on winding and undulating country roads or on the motorway. As a result, the 1.2-liter Picanto drives much more like a full-sized supermini than its rangemate, and maintains its prevailing speed in high gears much more effortlessly. It's a long way from fast or particularly exciting to drive, but can be good fun on the right road. There's well-judged pace and weight to the steering, very creditable lateral body control, good high-speed stability and sufficiently high grip levels for relatively fast cornering, particularly on the 16-in alloy wheels of GT Line specification. The Picanto's low-speed ride does suffer a bit in dealing with the extra unsprung mass and shortness of sidewall on those 16-in wheels and fitted tires, sometimes crashing over sharper ridges. More often, the car simply lacks the suppleness of the outgoing Picanto's ride, which can be attributed to those new chassis settings. But as a compromise, we can imagine plenty of younger buyers who will use their cars out of town, would willingly trade the old car's compliance for the added visual and handling composure of the new GT Line trim car. Should I buy one? The most multi-talented Kia Picanto would probably have this car's engine, but roll on the lighter and more forgiving 15-in alloy wheels of a slightly lower trim level. And, truth be told, if you avoid a GT Line trim altogether, you'd probably never have to explain that the car wasn't really a hot hatchback, since it wouldn't look like something trying desperately hard to be confused with one. But there I go again, not thinking like a 20-something buyer. For a younger audience than me, looking for a car they can afford, insure and still use, and also desire a bit, as well as very easily park and quietly enjoy driving, the Picanto GT Line looks like just the ticket. Once UK prices, equipment levels and insurance groups are confirmed, we'll know how highly to rate it with more confidence, but for now, it's off to a strong start.